Hi, and welcome to Monday series again. This week I'm talking about 5 hormonal influencers for fat loss. My name is Denise Grishti, and I am a metabolic and hormonal balance specialist as well as a personal trainer at D&G Fitness Studio. So the first hormonal influencer we're going to talk about is insulin. Now, in the line of hormonal influencers for fat loss, insulin still reigns as king according to current evidence. Now, this hormone, relative to the others, is most strongly influenced by carbohydrate intake and overconsumption of food, both of which cause detrimental increase in our blood sugars. So overconsuming any macronutrient, whether it is carbohydrate, whether it's fat or protein, will elevate this hormone. So for the average person who tends to be sedentary and also overconsumes, insulin will increase and remain high in their body. Chronic high levels of insulin will eventually cause your body to become resistant to this hormone, such as known as insulin resistance. So meaning you will actually have difficulty in burning fat. Now, with the epidemic of type 2 diabetes and obesity, this means that most people can actually become insulin resistant and thus unable to burn fat. So when you have lots of insulin in the body, then you cannot burn fat efficiently as needed. Now, to remedy these high levels of insulin floating around, one should lower their carbohydrate intake and be mindful of actually not overeating. The next hormone we're going to talk about is glucagon. Glucagon is actually the fat burner. Glucagon can be thought of as the insulin's good twin. It is insulin's twin because these two hormones in a healthy body can work together to keep your blood sugar and energy needs in check and in balance. It has the opposite personality of insulin, because higher levels of glucagon in the body and actually enable the body to burn fat instead of storing it. So if insulin levels are low, then glucagon can begin to help the body burn fat efficiently. Now, to cause an increase in glucagon, one should not overeat, while at the same time minimize their carbohydrate intake. Now, the next hormone we're going to talk about is cortisol. This is our stress hormone. So I have talked a lot about cortisol in my previous videos and mentioned it before. Cortisol is actually secreted from the adrenal glands, and it actually has a split personality in the body. So in other words, it is not all good and it is not all bad. Cortisol can either be your worst enemy or your best friend. Now, acute stressors on the body tend to cause a short-term increase of this cortisol hormone. It gets the body primed to either fight or flight from stress. So it brings that body into fight or flight mode. So this served us extremely well back in the olden days when we were not at the top of the food chain and we had to go out and hunt for our own food. So a lion jumping out at us requires a metabolic messenger that is quick acting to prime us to either fight or flee for our lives from the situation. So once we got danger of this, the hormone allowed us to get stronger and better for the next time a predator thinks that we are food. Unfortunately, these days with our hectic lifestyle, this causes our adrenaline glands to overload and think they are in dangerous creatures everywhere, jumping out at us. So what happens as such, the cortisol levels tend to be either chronically elevated or very, very low, both of which can create a fatty and fatigued body. Now, cortisol that is released with HGH, which is human growth hormone, and testosterone becomes a fat-burning influencer. So to positively influence this hormone, one should exercise in the two extremes: long duration, low intensity, or short duration, high intensity. So with the primary focus being the former. Now, also sleep and meditation will positively influence this cortisol hormone, and it'll help you become a happier, healthier fat burner. Next up is hormone number 4, called irisin. This is the exerciser hormone. I know you probably haven't heard of this hormone before because it is actually a recently discovered hormone that is secreted from the muscle tissue that has been exercised. It helps the body burn excess fat while also improving cognition and general well-being. It even appears to have anti-aging effects by lengthening the telomeres. Now, telomeres are a contributor to your biological clock. So the longer they are, the healthier you tend to be. If you are sedentary, then you do not get any benefit from this hormone. Contracting your big muscle groups, such as your chest, back, and leg muscles, on a regular basis maximizes the secretion of irisin. So exercising your big muscle groups with weights consistently will help your muscles secrete this hormone so that you can burn fat more efficiently. Runners should not fret because aerobic exercise also helps this hormone get secreted. And finally, hormonal influencer number 5 is the powerhouse hormone, which is called MOTSC. This is actually quite a unique one among the hormones, is because it is actually encoded in the DNA of the mitochondria. Now, the mitochondria are the powerhouses of cells. It's actually the part of the cell which converts our food into energy. All other hormones are actually encoded in the DNA of the nucleus. So this hormone is one of the most recently discovered hormones. So it's actually one that we quite haven't heard of at any recent time lately. Now, it primarily targets our muscle tissue, where that restores insulin sensitivity. So it actually counteracting the diet-induced and age-dependent insulin resistance. In animal studies, it actually appears to reverse both diabetes and obesity. So exercise on a regular basis, especially intense exercise, helps one make more mitochondria, thus actually possibly increasing the levels of MOTSC in our body. Okay, so I'm finishing off here with the 5 hormonal influencers for fat loss this week on our Monday morning series. Please feel free to get in touch with me if you have any other questions, and I wish you guys a great week ahead.